Hare Krishna, thank you for joining. Let's do Radha Madhav to start. Jai Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunj Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunj Bihari. Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jai Giravardhari, Shodhanandana Vrajjana Ranjana, Shodhanandana Vrajjana Ranjana, Yamuna Tiravanachari, Jai Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agyantimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Gatapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathamnitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvetam Savadhutam Krishna Setam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kant Radha Kant Namastate Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sudadevi Pranmami Haripriya Vancha Kalpatrubhescha Kirpa Sindhu Bevacha Patitana Pavnebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo 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 Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pasthaya Bhutale Śrīmad Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Parcharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasti Gaur Bhakt Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Mukham Kruti Vachalam Pangum Langyate Girim Yat Kirpatam Bandeshi Gurundin Taranam Paramananda Madhav Shiktaneshwar Hariyam Tassat Narayan Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jamaduriyat Nashta Prashabdirsham Nityam Bhagavata-Sevayā Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Nestiki. Okay, so thank you once again, and last time, just a recap. So we were saying that the creation is given a lot of emphasis in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, even though Maharaj Parikshit only got 7 days to live, but yet they're talking so much about the creation itself and Lord Brahma. So just mentioned that this talking about the creation of the Lord, sort of, it tells us about the potency of the Lord and the capability of the Lord, and it drives us towards devotional service, and sort of differentiates the material and the spiritual energies of the Lord. And we're also saying that Virat Rupa, which we discussed, are different parts of his body, and then like the hills and the different planetary system you mentioned. If you look at a universal Virat Rupa, or you can look at it as a universe Virat Rupa. If you look at it as like a multiverse Virat Rupa, then you're talking about different planetary systems, the Teen Lok, as we say. So we can look at it like that. Then we talk about the Patal Loks at the bottom, and Satya Lok as the head, and the Patal Lok as the soles or the feet of the Lord. And so then the demigods are mentioned as the senses. They're presiding deities of the senses, or they are seen as the senses of the Lord. And but why we do need to do all that, worship all demigods and the Virat Rupa? Because by worship the Supreme Lord directly, it's mentioned that one pleases the demigods, and even by worship the Virat Rupa, one pleases the demigods. So no need to worship them separately. So that's the demigods. But by worshipping the Lord, you don't have to worship the Virat Rupa, which is material anyway. And so I think that's get the idea. So water the roots, not the plant and the flowers and the branches and the leaves. Water the root itself that distributes to all the rest of the plant. So similarly, Krishna is the root of everything. Okay. So let's look at that. So we're on verse 30. Dayurakshani chakshur abut patanga pakshamani vishnu ahani ubecha tadbru vijrabham tadbru vijrabeh pramashti dishna aposya talu ras eva jiva. So Deya, the sphere of outer space, Akshani, the eyeballs, Chakshu of eyes, Abut, it so became, Patanga, the sun, Pakshmani, eyelids, Vishnu, or the personality of Godhead, Shri Vishnu, honey, day and night, Ubhe, both Cha and Tat, his brew, eyebrows, Vijrambha, movements, Parameshti, the supreme entity Brahma, Dishanyam, post Apaha, Varun, the director of water, Asya, his, Talu, palate, Rasaha, juice, Eva, certainly, Jiva, the tongue. So the sphere of outer space constitutes his eye pits, and the eyeball is the sun, or as the power of seeing. His eyelids are both day and night. So it's a freaking day and night. And in the movements of his eyebrows, Brahma and similar supreme personalities reside. His palate is a director of water, Varun, and the juice or essence of everything is his tongue. So everything is Krishna. How is compared? To compare to common sense, the description in this verse appears to be somewhat contradictory, because sometimes the sun has been described as the eyeball and sometimes as the outer space sphere, but there is no room for common sense in the injunctions of Shastras. So logic doesn't work with Shastras. We must accept the description of the Shastras and concentrate more on the form of the Virat Rupa than on common sense. Common sense is always imperfect, whereas the description in the Shastras is always perfect and complete. If there is any incongruity, it is due to our imperfection and not the Shastra. That is the method of approaching Vedic wisdom. So basically, we take it as we see it, because this Vedic wisdom comes straight from the Lord Himself, and the Lord does not have our defects of committing mistakes or going under illusion or having imperfect senses like that, right? So He doesn't have these issues, we do. So whatever we present or we which is decode, can be imperfect, but the knowledge given by the Vedas cannot be imperfect. And this is why you have like this academics doing papers on this topic, on that topic, and he's taken from the previous person, the scholar who's written the this journal or something, and then they correct it, saying no, this should be like this, and they give it sort of evidence, and then somebody else comes along and proves them wrong. So this goes on and on, right? So that is us. I'm just trying to remember what's his name. Hawkins. He presented a theory, and it was like a bestseller. And then he wrote again, and he proved that theory was wrong, and then that became a bestseller. So these things go on, and we just believe everything, or we don't believe everything. That's just our imperfectness. So that's 30. Okay. And then 31. Chandamsi natasya shirogran nanti tamastrayama kala davijani aso jananmat karicha maya duranta sargo yad apanga moksha. So Chandamsi, the Vedic hymns, Anantasya of the Supreme, Shira, the cerebral passage, Grananti, they say, Damstarha, the jaws of teeth, Yama, Yamraj, the director of sinners, Sneha, Kalaha, the art of affection, Davijani, the set of teeth, Hasha, smile, Jan, Anmadkari, the most alluring, Cha, also Maya, illusory energy, Durant, unsurpassable, Sargaha, the material creation, Yat, Apang, whose glance, Moksha, casting over. They say that the Vedic hymns are the cerebral passage of the Lord, and his jaws of teeth are Yam, god of death, who punishes the sinners. The art of affection is his set of teeth, and the most alluring illusory material energy, his smile. This great ocean of material creation is but the casting of his glance over us. So everything about the Lord is compared to different activities. According to Vedic assertion, this material creation is a result of the Lord's casting a glance over the material energy, which he described herein as the most alluring illusory energy. The conditioned souls who are allured by such materialism should know that the material temporary creation is simply an imitation of the reality, and that those who are captivated by such alluring glances of the Lord are put under the direction of the controller of sinners called Yamraj. The Lord smiles affectionately, displaying his teeth. The intelligent person who can grasp these truths about the Lord becomes a soul fully surrendered onto him. So you can understand why people get confused and start worshipping the material creation, because when you read this, it says that everything is all God, everything is God, but just the confusion is that this is God's energy. God, there's only one God, and that's Lord Krishna himself, the two-armed form. The rest are his expansions and his various energies. We talk about illusory energy, we talk about material energy, we talk about spiritual energy. That's those different energies. So the root cause is only Krishna, and it's so easy to fall into this trap that we start worshipping the energies of the Lord. Vrido tarushto dhar eva lobo dharma stano dharma pathosya prishtham kastasya medram vrishanau cha mitro kukshi samudra griosti sangaha. So Vrida, modesty, uttar, upper, ushta, lip, Adharachin eva, certainly, loba, hankering, dharma, religion, stan, breast, adharm, religion, patha, way, asya, his, prastham, back, kaha, brahma, tasya, his, Medaram, genitals, Vrishanav, testicles, Cha, also, Mitrao, the Mitra, Varnas, Kukshi, waist, Samudra, the oceans, Girha, the hills, Asti, bones, Sanga, stack. So modesty is the upper portion of his lips, hankering his chin, religion is the breast of the Lord, and religion is his back. Brahmaji, who generates all living beings in the material world, is his genitals, and the Mitra Varnas are his testicles. The ocean is his waist, and the hills and mountains are the stacks of his bones. So, comparing this to the bodily parts, because that's what's going on. These things are being produced as they would do in a person. So these things are going on. So they compared to like a human body. So the Supreme Lord is not impersonal as misconceived by less intelligent thinkers. Rather, he is the Supreme Person as confirmed in all authentic Vedic literatures. But his personality is different from what we can conceive. It is stated here that Brahmaji acts as his genitals and that the Mitra Varnas are his two testicles. This means that as a person, he is complete with all bodily organs. But there are different types of with different potencies. So basically, so the different, the different to us, Krishna, all these demigods are compared to his bodily parts, as we're saying, even his senses. So working senses and the knowledge acquiring senses are demigods, where all these parts also, they are part of that, right? Working senses and knowledge acquiring senses, like the ear, eye, nose, like that. Should be understood that his personality is not exactly the type of personality found within our imperfect speculation. One can, however, worship the Lord even by seeing the hills and mountains or the ocean and the sky as different parts and parcels of gigantic body of the Lord, the Virat Purusha, the Virat Roop, as exhibited by Lord Krishna to Arjun, is a challenge to the unbelievers. So if they want to worship that, it's like the Aborigines, that they worship different energies, and you can do that, but how you can have a relationship with those things? It's all about rasa and having a relationship, serving the Lord. You can't do that, with these energies. It has to be the Lord Himself. So, Nadyo asya nadyo tano ruhani mahiruha vishvatano niprindra anantavira shavistam shvasitam matrishva gatir vayaha karma guna parvaha. So Nadia, the rivers, asya of him, Nadya, veins, or Nadya, veins, Atha, and thereafter, Tanu Ruhani, hairs on the body, Mehi Ruhaha, the plants and trees, Vishvatanaho, of the universal form, Narpa Indra, O king, Ananta Viraha, of the omnipotent, Shvasitam, breathing, Matirshva, air, Gati, movement, Vaiha, passing ages, Karm, activity, Guna, Gun Parvaha, reactions of the modes of nature. O king, the rivers are the veins of the gigantic body, the trees are the hairs of his body. So this is only imaginary, right? It's just imaginary, because Krishna has created all this, so we can just like place these things, into what we understand, how we understand hair and veins and blood and like that. And the omnipotent air is his breath. The passing ages are his movements, and his activities are the reactions of the three modes of material nature. And we also talk about the breathing of Mahavishnu, whose expansion of the Lord. We talk about breathing. So when he's breathing out, all the creation is created, all the universes are created, planets are created. And when he breathes in, they're all annihilated, they're just taken back. So everything compared to what we understand, how we understand things. The personality of Godhead is not a dead stone, nor is he inactive, as is poorly taught by some schools. He moves with the progress of time, and therefore he knows all about the past and future, along with his present activities. There is nothing unknown to him. The conditioned souls are driven by the reactions of the modes of material nature, which are the activities of the Lord. As stated in the Bhagavad-Gita 7:12, the modes of nature act under his direction only, and as such, no natural functions are blind or automatic. The power behind the activities is the supervision of the Lord, and thus the Lord is never inactive as is wrongly conceived. The Vedas say that the Supreme Lord has nothing to do personally, as is always the case with superiors, but everything is done by his direction. So he might not be personally doing anything, but he's controlling, he's directing all the activities. So his energies are doing all the work, but under his direction, and nothing is done without his direction. It's like, you could say, like a conductor in a conducting music orchestra. He's orchestrating. He's standing. It seems like somebody may think he's just standing there with the stick in his hand, just waving up and down. But he's controlling. When they clap, they clap the conductor, because he's controlling the speed and the intensity of the music, and how which instrument should be played, in what speed, and what intensity, when they should be all played together, when they should be played separate. He's controlling everything. That makes the whole thing very beautiful, right? He decides how he's going to mix this. He's the director. So like that, Krishna, he may mention that he's not doing anything, but everything is going beautifully under his direction. Okay. So the conditioned souls are driven by the reactions of the modes of material nature, which are the activities of the Lord. As stated in the Bhagavad-Gita 7:12, the modes of nature act under his direction only, and as such, no natural functions are blind or automatic. The power behind the activity is the supervision of the Lord, and thus the Lord is never inactive as is wrongly conceived. The Vedas say that the Supreme Lord has nothing to do personally, as is always the case with superiors, but everything is done by his direction. As it is said, not a blade of grass moves without his sanctions. Everything is controlled by him. In the Brahma Samhita 548, it is said that all the universes and the heads of them, the Brahmas, exist only for the duration of his breathing period. So while he's breathing out, when he's breathing in, then everything is being sucked back. The same is confirmed here. The air on which the universes and the planets within the universes exist is nothing but a bit of the breath of the unchallengeable Virat Purush. So even by studying the rivers, trees, air, and passing ages, one can conceive of the personality of Godhead without being misled by the formless conception of the Lord. In the Bhagavad-Gita 4.5, it is stated that those who are much inclined to the formless conception of the Supreme Truth are more troubled than those who can intelligently conceive of the personal form. So worshipping the impersonal is more difficult, or trying to please the impersonal. Okay. So 33, 34. Ishasasya keshan vidu ambuvan vasastu sandhyam kuruvarya bhumana avyaktam ahur hridayam manascha Sa Chandramaha Sarva Vikar Koshaha. So Ishasya of the Supreme Controller, Keshan, hairs on the head. Vidu, you may know it from me. Ambu Vahan, the clouds which carry water. Vasahatu, the dress. Sandhyam, termination of day and night. Kuru Varya, O best of the Kurus. Bhumanaha, of the Almighty. Avyaktam, the prime cause of material creation. Ahu, it is said. Hirdayam, intelligence. Manhacha, and the mind. Sa, he. Chandramaha, the moon. Sarva Vikar Kosha, the reservoir of all challenges. O best among the Kurus, the clouds which carry water are the hairs on his head. So imaginary, so in comparison. The terminations of days or nights are his dress, and the supreme cause of material creation is his intelligence. His mind is the moon, the reservoir of all changes. So so maybe when they were creating these things, Lord Brahma was imagining that this is the the hairs on the head of the Lord. I don't know, he was given the intelligence and the knowledge in the heart, and so where do all these things come from? Okay, this is compared to that. I think we have to tapasya like Brahma to understand it completely. Vignan Shakti Mahim Amananti Sarvatmanonta Karanam Giritram Ashvashvatri Ustra Gaja Nikhani Sarve Mrigha Pashvaksho Nideshe. So Vigyan Shakti, consciousness. Mahim, the principle of matter. Amananti, they call it so. Sarva Atmana, of the omnipresent. Antakaranam, ego. Giritram, Rudra, Shiv. Ashva, horse. Ashvatri, mule. Ustra, camel. Gaja, elephant. Nakhani, nails. Sarve, all other. Mrigha, stags. Pashvaha, quadruped. Shroni Deshe, on the region of the belt. The principle of matter, Mahatattva, Tatav, is the consciousness of the omnipresent Lord, as asserted by the experts, and Rudradeva is his ego. The horse, mule, camel, and elephant are his nails, and wild animals and all quadrupeds are situated in the belt zone of the Lord. So there's like 10 different creations and 10 categories of creations, and this some are mentioned here, which anyway we'll discuss that a bit more later on. So this is 35, and finally 36. Vyam sitad vyakaranam vichtaram manu manisha manujo nivasa gandhara vidyadar charana pasaraha swa smriti asruni kavryaha. So vyamsi, varieties of birds. Tat vyakaranam, vocables. Vichitram, artistic. Manu, the father of mankind. Manisha, thoughts. Manujaha, mankind, the sons of Manu. So Manu and Manu Jaha, the sons of Manu. Nivasa, residence. Gandharva, the human beings named Gandharvas. Vidyadhar, the Vidyadhars. Charan, the Charans. Apsara, the angels. Swar, musical rhythm. Smriti, remembrance. Asur, Anik, the demoniac soldiers. Viraha, praus. So varieties of birds are indications of his masterful artistic sense. Manu, the father of mankind, is the emblem of his standard intelligence, and humanity is his residence. The celestial species of human beings, like the Gandharvas, Vidyadhars, Charans, and angels, all represent his musical rhythm. and the demoniac soldiers are a representation of his wonderful prow. So nothing is outside his jurisdiction. The aesthetic sense of the Lord is manifested in the artistic, colorful creation of varieties of birds like the peacock. So that's his artistry. Parrot and cuckoo, all special birds. The celestial species of human beings. So there's different types of human beings, like the Gandharvas who sing beautifully. Vidyadharas, they have so many qualities as well. Can sing wonderfully and can entice even the minds of the heavenly demigods. Their musical rhythm represents the musical sense of the Lord. So, where else do they get it from? They get it from all the ragas come from the Lord himself. How then can he be impersonal? Because like the Vidyadharas, Gandharvas did not manufacture their old ragas. These come from the Lord's, his potency, from his mercy. His musical taste, artistic sense, and standard intelligence, which is never fallible, are different signs of his supreme personality. The Manu Samhita is the standard law book for humanity, and every human being is advised to follow his great book of social knowledge. So how to live and how to behave is in Manu Samhita. The human society is the residential quarters for the Lord. This means that the human being is meant for God realization and association with God. So human society is the residential quarters for the Lord. This means that the human being is meant for God realization and association with God. This life is a chance for the conditioned soul to regain his eternal God consciousness and thus fulfill the mission of life. Maharaj Prahlad is the right type of representative of the Lord in the family of Asuras. None of the living beings is away from the Lord's gigantic body. Each and every one has a particular duty in relation to the Supreme Body. Disruption in the matter of discharging the specific duty assigned to each and every living being is the cause of disharmony between one living being and another. But when the relation is re-established in relation with the Lord, there is complete unity between all living beings, even up to the limit of wild animals and human society. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu displayed this living unity in the jungle of Madhya Pradesh, where even the tigers, elephants, and many other ferocious animals perfectly cooperated in glorifying the Supreme Lord. This is the way to peace and amity all over the world. So, we talk about the creation, and then that creation was connected to God consciousness. We are also his creation. But it says the human society is the residential quarters for the Lord. So how that is, so material humans with the spiritual, material bodies, spiritual jivas, are the residential quarters for the Lord. So in other words, God should be residing in the heart, which he does as Paramatma, but we want him to reside as Krishna himself, not just Paramatma. We want Krishna there. Paramatma, because Paramatma is limited. Paramatma doesn't have rasa with us. He doesn't have relationship with us. He's just the overseer. Right? Paramatma is the sanctioner and the overseer of all our activities. The Krishna in the form of Paramatma, he has a particular service which he does. But we want Krishna in the heart so we can have a relationship with Krishna. And this is what the great saints in our disciplic succession and other examples that we see, they had a relationship with Krishna. They're Krishna in the heart, and they're always communicating with Krishna. And when you go to Krishna Lok, that's what you're doing there. Krishna is in the heart, and you are communicating with him all the while. So we don't just want Param Atma, we want Krishna in the heart. But for that, the heart needs to be cleansed. The Paramatma is happy to do his duty even when we are in an animal form. And the worst, even a hog has Paramatma. Even the trees have Paramatma. But if you want Krishna in the heart, then that contaminated heart first must be cleansed, so where he can reside, the heart. So beautiful once again verses, and like your thoughts on this. I'd like Ajay Gorai to, because I think just in case he needs to leave, I know there's something, he's waiting for something if it arrives, so he might have to leave. So Ajay, if you want to go first.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Yes, yeah, some very nice verses here. It's I actually like the when Prabhupada mentioned in the purport that we think that our viewpoint is the common sense as such, but then we forget that we do have the defects, imperfect senses, being illusions, so forth. So actually, it is rather than just assuming that we know best, we should actually look to inquire within Shastra and actually try to understand what is actually trying to be explained. Take association of those that are more that better understanding about these verses, then you can always discuss with others. The whole Guru Sadhu Shastra, that's the whole point. That where if there is confusion, then you take association so you can understand better. And yes, it's the personal thinking, approaching the Lord through the personal viewpoint is a lot. I'd say it's a lot more simpler and actually a lot more effective, of course, because that is the best way. In personal itself is very beautiful, but you can get distracted, or then this is just descriptive terms. Sometimes there's impersonal, like for example, like Puranjan. There's like allegorical version given where trying to when somebody can't take you directly, they're given like an indirect way of approaching the Lord or on trying to understand their point of view in that sense. Yeah, so it's very nice that if somebody even manages doing this much, just indirect trying to approach the Lord impersonally, it's something, but when you have the option to take the approach the Lord directly, why not do that? It's just there's the rasa is possible that way. And personally, it's still beneficial, but then you commit offense against the Lord to speak to the Lord because you can end up just denying that the Lord has a personal form. Rather than accepting you prefer the impersonal worship, you'll end up denying that the Lord's personal form exists at all. And that's also dangerous as well. So that's the problem here, that you can end up causing offenses. You can end up confusing yourself. Again, so that's why we're just very fortunate that we take to bhakti, because it's simply not only to simplify matters, it actually gives us a way of actually pleasing Krishna best, and that's what we want. Very well.
Haribol, thank you so much. Okay, Kiran Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Yes, beautiful verses. And again, it exemplifies that the Lord is omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient. Where is he not? And it's true what was said, that any creeper or the bhakti creeper, the bhakti beej, has to be watered at its roots. And the roots is our Sanatan Dharam, which gives us the Vedic principles. And for all of us, but even for the uninitiated or those who have not grasped the magnificence of divinity, there is a map that's given, the Virat Roop. It positions different elements of creation. It shows where the rivers are, where the mountains are, where the where the consciousness is, where the unconsciousness is, and that's okay, if people are functioning at different levels. But for many of us, or for all of us, these are metaphors. And this is the beauty of the Bhagavatam. There are allegories, there are third-person examples given, and that there are metaphors. And these are metaphors for us to understand creation. Creation is not an easy thing to understand, but this is a way of putting it on paper. This is where and how the Virat group is there to position different elements of creation. But for us, we can realize that it's not necessary, because the Virat group is a material conception. And we have to take heed that it helps us to position things, because we also have to remember that this Sanatan Dharam isn't just for us, it's for the whole of humanity. We accept that the American Indians, the native Indians, will worship their environment. The Aborigines will worship their rocks, caves, and rivers. And the Polynesians will do the same. But it's a different level of evolution as such. But nevertheless, they do give significance to the Creator and what He has put in place for everybody. And so this is the beauty of the magnitude of Krishna's creation, how beautiful the vertebrates, the bipeds, the quadrupeds, the birds with their multiple vibrant colors, the peacocks, as soon as they open their feathers, are just enchanting. And for those who are immersed in the material world, of course, this is His creation. But then there is a parallel universe, the universe that is the spiritual world. And that's where we are seeking to continue to water the creeper, the roots, so that we can climb higher and higher towards Goloka, Vrindavan. But it requires the cleansing of the heart, the cleansing of the spirit, and hence the mind as well, and the senses. So yeah, transformation is necessary. And doing this on a daily and a regular basis will cleanse and soften the heart. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, I'm just thinking that we also, as Krishna consciousness people, we also worship mountain, Govardhan. We worship rivers, Ganga and Yamuna, and other rivers as well, right? But these, we worship them because they're connected with the Lord, right? So Govardhan, we know about the pastimes, and Ganga comes from the, it touches the foot of the Lord, it's coming down, and then from the outside, from the spiritual world, and then we also have Yamuna, where the Lord has pastimes. So worship them by connecting them to the Lord. And what else was there? Yeah, we worship, we respect Lord Shiva because he's a Vaishnav, and any other demigods who are Vaishnavs, worship them. We ask for their mercy, their help, because they serve the Lord, and we want those qualities as well. So this is why it's Krishna consciousness. We have to do everything in the consciousness of Krishna. So Yukta Vairagya, we use everything, even the demigods and the rivers and the mountains, to worship the Lord itself. But our ultimate focus is on the Lord, and we worship them because they are related to the Lord. That's the reason we worship. So, but these people are worshipping because they think they are the Lord, but that is, as you said, that is not the case. Thank you, Prabhu. Hina Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I think in terms of my key points for this and for the verses that we've covered, we learn how Shastra is a higher authority than our own imperfect speculation or interpretation. We shouldn't reject any of the script scriptural descriptions, if we can't understand them or we can't reconcile them, with normal logic, or our our restricted logic, should I say. So human reasoning is limited, it's prone to error, we know this, but whereas our Vedic knowledge descends from a much more perfect source. I also noted down how humility is also necessary for this understanding, for spiritual understanding. So to approach scripture in the right mood, because sometimes we might read something and it baffles us, or it might be difficult for us to get our heads around or believe even, that we need to approach it in the way that consider that I maybe do not understand this yet, this truth yet. So rather than assuming the scripture must be wrong, essentially, it's usually a fault with our ability to understand it and fully grasp it. And then some very nice verses around the material world and its connection to the Lord, and how Krishna had glanced over material energy and he forced creation to happen. So we hear in these verses as well that the material beauty, its enjoyment is temporary, and it's only a reflection of the spiritual reality, which is permanent. I really like the sentence about how it says the Lord's smile in here, in terms of the description, which is very nice around the smile. His smile is like an expression of his affection and mercy, and it shows us that those who understand his true position will naturally surrender as well to him. And then some very nice glories we hear as well about Krishna and he has the personal nature of Krishna and how he has complete control over creation. And obviously this verse is very popular, but the fact that not a blade of grass moves without his will. He's fully active, fully aware of everything, past, present, future. Nothing happens independent of his will. He sanctions everything. And he directs everything through his energies, so he's not personally burdened with organizing the sun, the rain coming down, etc. But he outsources that to the demigods, etc. But under his control. So there was my film and reflections. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So this is how we find out about when we talk about what he does, we not even go to his sweetness yet. We're talking about what he, what work he does. There's so much to glorify. Thank you, Mataji. Actually, I was thinking, Sunita Mataji, you want to add anything? You don't have to, but if you wish, you can.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everyone. I think mostly everything's covered. Although it is very difficult to understand these descriptions of nature, but I accept them because it's in scriptures, and this is all part of Krishna, and it is the purpose, like Prabhupada's putting. Then I understand a bit more. And if you're reading just the verses, I don't think I'll understand fully. But when you're reading Prabhupada's purpose, it makes sense, and then you understand fully. That's all I can say. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Yeah, very good point. Because verses we will never ever, whether it's the graduate study or a diploma study, especially postgraduate, we can never work this out about them. We cannot understand. We all have to go to someone, get the knowledge, and then share it. This is called disciplic succession, or going down the line to help each other. We're like in a train, we're just passing it on, because we can never work it out. Bhagavad-Gita, in the first chapter, Srila Prabhupada mentions that you need to approach someone to help you. You won't be able to work out these. And he, it's thanks to Srila Prabhupada that he has given us all this, translation and explanation that we would have totally, we work out according to our own consciousness. We would, work out our own, in a mundane way, we would answer it. So we need knowledge coming down from the disciplic succession to make sense of it. Thank you, Mataji. Radharani?
Hare Krishna, everyone. My pranams to all of you. Yes, if it wasn't for Srila Prabhupada, we would be believing the same thing like the whole world, that Virat Rup is also real. But we find out that Virat Rup is imaginary to help those who haven't connected Krishna as a person to Krishna as a person yet. And yeah, I really like the point that we also worship the mountains, the rivers, and other things because they are connected to Krishna. We worship everything in Krishna consciousness, and we understand that Paramatma is in all of us. Like many people in the world, you know, they will just say that that's it, we are connecting to Paramatma, and sometimes they confused by saying Paramatma as Bhagwan. So if it wasn't for Srila Prabhupada, I don't think we will understand anything. And with our Kali Yuga Buddhis, we understand what we hear at the given moment. And when we move on, we have to, you know, try to recall what we learned previously. So, yeah, end of the day, all Bhagavatam is helping us is trying to connect us to Krishna as a person. So we worship the personal form, the two-hand form, and develop the relationship with him. That's why we do the chanting every day. We're calling out for God. So we are all learning, and it's so nice to hear all of your realizations, because they do help, because everybody's understanding, when it's worded by them, it clears more, you know, the scope
we understand from each other.
Of understanding, because when we hear something else, when the others also describe, it does help. So thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much, and we'll complete this on Monday, and then on Tuesday evening. Prabhu wasn't available Wednesday. We normally do a Wednesday, so we'll do the Tuesday session in the evening, and you know, we'll get the overview on this beautiful chapter and move on to chapter 2. So Granthra Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Go Prem Nande, Hari Hari Bol. Thank you.
Hari Bol. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.